to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. Glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, verses 18 to 34. Mukam karati vacharam bangam langate girim yakipantam hanmande shikram tinatavinam Om Gyanati Virandasya Gyananja Shakaya Chakshivinitam Yena Tasamai Shri Gurave Namaha. So yesterday we talked about how to be an instrument for Krishna. Instruments in spiritual life can think. They're not like normal instruments in this world that you just use them. Of course, we are being used by Krishna. And so it requires humility that, Krishna, you please work through me. I can't really do anything. I'm not very qualified. But you can do anything, but I have to be open to receive your energy, to receive your mercy. So today we'll start with verse 18, and you have the paper, and it's also up here too. Oh, did you get? Yeah, you got a paper, okay. So I'll say one line, you can repeat after me. Tiratahunanda pulinda pukasha. Tiratahunanda pulinda pukasha. Avira shumha yavana kasadaya. Avira shumha yavana kasadaya. Yenyecha papa yad apashaya shayaha. Yenyecha papa yad apashaya shayaha. Shityanti tasmai pravishnave namaha. Tasmai pravishnave namaha. Kirata kuna andhra pulinda pukasha abira shumha yavana. Members of the Khasa races and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of devotees of the Lord due to his being supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this verse shows you can become empowered by glorifying Krishna and serving the devotee. There is no material qualification for preaching and for being a devotee. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. So, yes, your translation? Okay. So, this verse is abhideya. This is a practice of devotional service, is practice. Sutta Goswami, he said, I'm born in a low family, in a mixed caste. But because I serve the devotees, then I can speak Bhagavatam. This is Sutta he's speaking. He's the speaker of Bhagavatam to the sages Naimisharanya. And he says, even by conversing with great souls, you can clean yourself of all disqualifications. So when we're born in this earth, we have so many disqualifications. We're not. In fact, in Kali Yuga, nobody has qualification. Everyone's born a Shudra, unless, of course, there is Garbhadam Samskara, and then they can be called Brahmanas. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says of this 2418 that if the leadership of the world affairs is entrusted to devotees of the Lord, for which a worldwide society of the name International Society for Krishna Conscious has been started, by the grace of the Lord, there can be a thorough change of heart in human beings all over the world, because devotees of the Lord are able authorities to effect such a change by purifying the dust-worn minds of the people in general. So did you know everyone has dust-worn minds? Dust in the heart, Chittadarpana Marjanam. We have to clean the heart. So by chanting and also by serving the devotee. In the purport of this verse, Prabhupada says, there is no bar to becoming a devotee of the Lord. And even women, Shudras, Vaishyas, lowborn, anyone can be a devotee. And then you can go back home to Godhead if you become a devotee. You become eligible. Only qualification, take shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord who has knowledge of Gita and Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says. So isn't that interesting? So, yes. And so he says, anyone from any part of the world who becomes conversant in the science of Krishna becomes pure devotee and a spiritual master for the general mass of people and may reclaim them. And so isn't that nice? Prabhupada is giving us that chance. If we know Gita and Bhagavatam, then we can become guru and teach others. So, and Prabhupada says, even if you're born a sinful man, you can at once be purified by contacting a pure devotee of the Lord. And so yes, he says, a Vaishnava can accept a bona fide disciple from any part of the world without any consideration of caste and creed, and promote him by regulative principles to the status of a pure Vaishnava who is transcendental to Brahminical culture. Isn't that interesting? So there was one example of Srila Prabhupada elevating a person who was completely unqualified. He was in Paris in a morning walk, and this homeless person, disheveled hair, dirty clothes, jumped out from the bush trying to touch Prabhupada's feet. And Prabhupada's disciples picked him up and threw him back in the bush. But when Prabhupada came back to the temple door was open, and that person was sitting in the temple. And as soon as Prabhupada walked in, he grabbed Prabhupada's feet. And the devotees were shocked. So, oh my God, this is not good. But Prabhupada was patting him on the head and saying, it's okay, Hare Krishna. So then they got very impressed. And then that homeless person wouldn't leave the temple. He wanted to join. And when they saw the mercy Prabhupada gave him, they said, okay, we have to keep him, shave him up, give him a bath. The problem was he couldn't talk because he took so many drugs. So then the devotees gave him a name, Pigpen, the dirtiest of the animals. Pigpen, we see the pigs in Vrindavan wallowing in the stool of the gutter. And so Pigpen, yes, and Pigpen, he couldn't really talk, but they kept him, they let him clean. He was doing the cleaning in the temple. And then, I was in Yudhun Maharaj, he was going out for book distribution in the van, and Pigpen went in the van and said, I'm also going. I go. He couldn't speak, but he says, I go. And so they went book distribution, and he said, okay, you can clean the van. But then it was time to go out, and Pigpen, he got a book bag, put it full of books, and he went out. And he came back with so much money and no books. And they said to him, what did you say to the people? He said, Prabhupada saved me. Prabhupada saved me. So that was his mantra. After a while, he started talking, and he started giving classes. And recently, he left his body in Vrindavan. I think, as a Prabhupada disciple. So, everybody has the chance. Everybody has a chance to get promoted in Krishna consciousness. No one is unqualified. So, and when we first went to India, the Goswamis were saying to us, it's so nice. You're doing such good puja. Next life, you can be born in a Brahmin family. So we told Prabhupada said, you tell those Goswamis, you're doing such a nice puja. Next life you could be born in ISKCON. So that was the status. We weren't really recognized when we first went to India. And in a purport in 5th canto, Prabhupada says about sometimes they say unless the body is changed, a low-born person cannot be purified. You must first change your body, become a Brahmin, and then you can chant properly. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, that when we chant Hare Krishna, our subtle body is getting purified. We are changing our body. We are not this body. The subtle body has changed by chanting Hare Krishna. We are not male, female, our subtle body is changing to a Vaishnava, even higher than a Brahmin. So this purport, he's talking that as the all-powerful Lord accepts the humble service of his devotee in his form as the Archana in the temple, similarly the body of a pure Vaishnava changes at once when he gives himself to the service of the Lord and is trained by a qualified Vaishnava. So 2 ways we change our body, and that is by kirtan, and it is japa kirtan, and by archana. When you do deity worship, you also change your subtle body. And Lord Chaitanya confirms anyone who chants Hare Krishna without offense is very fortunate. And whether Indian, non-Indian, Hindu, non-Hindu, he comes to the level of the most pious personality. So when Lord Chaitanya was here, the smartas of Navadvip, Hindus were criticizing him. You are giving this holy name to people who are not Brahmins, and that will ruin the holy name. The potency won't be there. And so Prabhupada calls them rascals. The rascal Pashandis think if anyone but a Brahmin chants the holy name, the potency of the holy name is vanquished. Instead of delivering fallen souls, the holy name becomes reduced. So that was what they were saying. And so then Prabhupada, in this purport of this verse, he says, the system of caste or Varnashram dharma is no longer regular even amongst the so-called followers of the system, nor is it now possible to reestablish the institutional function in the present context of social, political, and economic revolution. Without any reference to the particular custom of a country, one can be accepted to the Vaishnava cult spiritually, and there is no hindrance. By the order of Lord Chaitanya, the cult of Bhagavatam Gita can be preached all over the world, and this will be accepted by all persons. So yes, this is very important, that it's very difficult now to reestablish the Varnashram system. I know in India, I lived there 52 years, and when I was in Goa, I was not near a temple, I was driving a moped, and I went to the place where they service your moped, and there was a Brahmin who was taking care of the bikes, and he was covered head to foot in grease. And people were calling him, "Oh, Panditji, can you fix my bike?" And I thought, oh my God, it's not working here. It's not happening. This is Panditji. Yes, Panditji, Rikshawala. And so, yeah, it's how it is in India. Today, even though they're doing the work of a Shudra, they say, oh, Panditji. And so in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada, Krishnadas Kavira says, to vanquish the false pride of so-called renunciates and learned scholars, he spreads real religious principles even through a Shudra or lower-born fourth-class man. So that was Ramananda Roy. Lord Chaitanya was a Brahmana sannyasi. He went to learn from a Grihastra Shudra. He went to learn about devotional service. He made Ramananda Roy the speaker, and he was the hero. And he exhibited glories of the holy name through a Muslim-born Haridas Thakur. And so Rupa and Sanatan also were excommunicated. They were not accepted as Brahmins, but he used them to preach. And Prabhupada did the same thing that one time he said that just like Lord Ram had an army of monkeys, so do I. I have an army of, so we're Prabhupada's monkeys that he used to preach. So there is no impediment to doing service. We should hope against hope, like Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, hope against hope. So we're going to go to verse 19 of this. You have it on your paper. I'm just going to read it. He is the super soul and the supreme Lord of all self-realized souls. He is personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Shiva and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may that Supreme Absolute be pleased with me. So it's very, very interesting, without pretension. So devotees must be without pretension. Gata vyalika. So this is an English word, pretension. What is the definition of pretension? Can anybody tell me who knows English? Sort of, or yes, you know? Without motive, okay. Any other meanings of pretension? Yeah?
Pretension means that you pretend.
To pretend, here.
That you put on a face that's not the truth.
Okay, so you're pretending to be something you're not. Pretension. That's also a good one. Yes, a motive. And it's very interesting. Okay, anybody else have something about pretension? So, I mean, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says there's 3 kinds of pretension. Very, very interesting. The karmis, the gyanis, and the yogis, they all have pretension. Because the karmis, they want to enjoy this world, and that's not who they are. The gyanis want to renounce it, and they can't renounce it either. It's not theirs to renounce. And then the yogis, they want mystic powers. So that's also, these are material desires. So Srila Prabhupada calls these 3 pretensions, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami. Now, and how the devotee is nishkam, he has no pretension. And Prabhupada tells what that means, that number 1, they desire everything to please Krishna. That's the main thing. They want to please Krishna. Number 2, they're dependent on the orders of the Lord. So that's being an instrument. You're dependent on Krishna's orders. And 3, they're always ready to do their duty for satisfaction of the Lord. And Prabhupada said that Arjuna had pretension in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, I want to enjoy with my relatives. It won't be nice if my relatives aren't here. And Krishna preached to him to make him desireless. So yes, and he did. He listened to Krishna. We should also listen to Krishna too, and do his order, follow his order. So how to become free from pretension? And the end of that purport of 19, Srila Prabhupada says, special stress is given to devotional of service of the Lord by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So service, if you can do service, you can become free. So what is the mentality of the devotee free? We will read verse 20, and I will say one line, and you can repeat after me. Shriya Pati Yagya Pati Prajapati, Shriya Pati Yagya Pati Prajapati, Tiyam Pati Loka Pati Tarapati, Yam Pati Loka Pati Tarapati, Pati Kadishchan Gavrishi Sattvatam, Dirgadishchan Gavrishi Sattvatam, Prasidatame Bhagavan Satam Pati, Tame Bhagavan Satam Pati. May Lord Shri Krishna, who is the worshipful Lord of all devotees, protector and glory of all the kings like Andaka, Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, husband of all goddesses of fortune, director of all sacrifices, therefore leader of all living entities, controller of all intelligence, proprietor of all planets, spiritual, material, and supreme incarnation on the earth, be merciful unto me. Okay, so here there's different groups that Krishna is the supreme, and Shuka is showing us how he can empower us. He's the Lord of opulences, and in the purport, there's a paragraph for each one of these statements of Sukadeva Goswami here. There is something in the purport. So the first thing was Shriyapati, and he's the Lord of Lakshmi. He's the Lord of Lakshmi. He's the Lord of everything is Lakshmi in this. It's all Krishna's Lakshmi. That's all his opulence. And when he came here, he showed his opulence of Rasalila to attract the conditioned souls. And he's the Lord of sacrifice. That's Harinam. Prabhupada says, Harinam, he's the Lord of Sankirtan, Yagya. If you do Harinam, three things will happen. You won't be in difficulty keeping your body and soul together. It means he will maintain you, and you'll purify your existence, and you'll find promotion into spiritual existence. You will know your identity, your relationship with Krishna. So Krishna is the leader. Krishna is the leader because he's maintaining us. He's maintaining. He's the Lord of our intelligence because he's giving intelligence. Someone is highly intelligent by the grace of the Lord, and someone is a fool by the same control. So he's in our heart. He's the form of intelligence, it's described. So when you chant Hare Krishna, you're connecting with that. Lord of intelligence, I have experience. When I was teaching Bhaktivedanta course, Srimad-Bhagavatam, sometimes I wouldn't understand a verse. So I'd read the verse, and then I would chant one round, and I get so many ideas, which I knew weren't from me. They were from the Lord in the heart. He's a reservoir of intelligence. So if you think you don't have much intelligence, just connect with Krishna. In the heart, he's a reservoir. He can give you as much as you need. And one time I had to do a whole chapter I didn't understand. It's in third canto, all about the different time things, time zones. So I read the whole chapter, chanted all my 16 rounds, and I got a beautiful chart, which I just wrote down and I gave to the class. So yes, he's the Lord of our intelligence, and he's the owner of everything, Lokapati. And Tarapati, Lord of the earth. And how is he Lord of the earth? She probably gives the example how he married 16,108 wives. Who can do that? Prabhupada says we're lucky if you can maintain one or two wives. That's 16,108. And so in Poland, one time a Polish nun made a court case against Krishna. He's immoral. He had so many wives, 16,000. So he cannot be God. He is immoral. And so, devotees then they questioned the nun, what were your vows when you became a nun? What vow did you take? And she wouldn't say. But then they read the vow, I vow to marry Jesus. And they said, how many nuns are there in the world who married Jesus? And, case dismissed. So So even Jesus, he had a lot of wives too, according to the Christian Catholic liturgy. Dharapati, Lord of the universe. So yes, he is the Lord of everything, and we should surrender, and we'll be happy. So verse 21, I'll just read. There's a personality of God, Shri Krishna, who gives liberation by thinking of his lotus feet at every second, following in the footsteps of authorities. Devotee in trance can see the absolute truth. The learned mental speculators, however, think of him according to their whims. May the Lord be pleased with me. He's keep asking over and over, please, I want to please you. I hope you're pleased with me. Oh, it's a nice prayer. Please be pleased with me. I pray you be pleased with me. So yes, Now, the mystic yogis, they try to control the senses. They might get a trance. They're trying to see, get a vision of the super soul in everyone. And taking millions of years. It takes, I think, 100,000, 60,000 years it took Vishwamitra to be perfect in meditation. And people now think, 5 years, 6 years, they'll start levitating or whatever. It doesn't work, no. So how does the devotee do it? Prabhupada in the purport says, the pure devotee, simply by remembering the Lord's lotus feet at every second. And we did tell how to do that in our last class. How to remember the lotus feet at every second? By offering whatever you do during the day. Offering, okay, I'm getting up today, Krishna, so I'm offering this day to you. Okay, I'm brushing my teeth. These are your teeth, they're not mine. For you, I'm brushing your teeth. And having a shower, I offer the shower to you because it's not my body, it's your body. I'm going shopping, that's for you. So on and on. We remember the lotus feet of the Lord. Devotee thinks himself fallen into the ocean of birth and death. And number 3, because we're fallen in this ocean, we pray to the Lord to lift us up. We just want to be a speck of dust at his lotus feet. So that's the prayer. And there's another King Kulishekar, great devotee, he said that just like the swans, they go and to the lotus flowers and they try to enjoy. So let my mind go into the lotus of your lotus feet and enjoy there. Yes, our mind should be swan-like. Search for Krishna's lotus feet. So, but this verse also talks about the mental speculators who don't get it. They don't get it. I mean, the purport talks about it at least. And so, yes, this is verse 21. And the purport, Prabhupada says, the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to such mental speculators because they can't enter the network of the lotus feet of the Lord. They all differ in their conclusions. But then here's in a very prophetic sentence by Srila Prabhupada. He saw the future today. The Lord is not like a shopkeeper trying to please all sorts of customers in the mental speculator exchange. We have a mental speculator exchange even now. Does anybody know the name of that exchange? It's mental speculator exchange. We have it among us today. And it is called Facebook. Because on Facebook, it asks you what's on your mind. So we get a mental speculator, we get the minds of thousands of people exchanging. Today I had fruit for breakfast, or whatever they say. So yeah, we have it, a mental speculator. So it's good if you're on Facebook, then just go and do deity puja, see the deities from all over the world, and hear what the devotees have to exchange on the mental speculator exchange. Yeah. So, yes. So Prabhupada said this humility of the devotee who is engaged in service puts the devotee in a trance. We are in trance. And the Lord will reveal himself, just like Prabhupada said in Krishna book, that, yes, what is the mystery? We heard last time, what's the mystery of Krishna consciousness that these mental speculators don't get it? And that mystery is love of God. Love of God's a big mystery. They don't understand. They have a relationship with Krishna, and they have a loving relationship with Krishna. So he prays to the Lord, asking him for his mercy, so that he may see him, and the Lord is pleased. So yes, Krishna will reveal himself to those who try to please him, and that's the essence. Krishna consciousness. There he comes. He's revealing himself. Jai Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Jai. So yeah, now verse 22. Okay, so I'll sing this verse. Pacharitayena pura saraswati, Pacharitayena pura saraswati, Itam bhatajasya satim svatim hidi, Itam bhatajasya satim svatim hidi, Salakshana pradurabhutkilasyata, Salakshana durabhutkilasyata, Same vishinam vishaba visitam. Shinam Shaba Siddhata. May the Lord, when beginning of creation, amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. So, Purport probably says some very interesting things that we, living beings, can have 78% of the knowledge that Brahma got. Well, even Brahma, he's also a jiva. He gets 78% of the qualities. We have that 78 in very, very small quantity. And so Sukadeva is praying for this knowledge to come in his heart. Yes. And I heard, let's see, what was the name of the GBC of Germany who used to be GBC? What's her name? Dina Sharana. Yeah, so somehow I heard that she got it. She got that knowledge one night in a dream. Prabhupada was there, and he says he was giving her all the knowledge in her heart. And then he said, now you have to go and save Germany. So she did it. It was a very difficult time. And she took that knowledge and she took that order, Srila Prabhupada, and she did it. So that's, yes, Prabhupada can give that knowledge to all of us, any of us. We are all his servants. So in Bhagavatam, beginning of first canto, Krishna tells us how we can get that knowledge, how it happens. How does it happen? Because we have this ahankara, this false ego. Ahankara means it's a knot in the heart. And the knot is tying together two things. When you have a knot, it means something is one side, something's the other. So what is that knot tying together? Body and soul, or spirit and matter. It's tying us to this body. It's tying us to matter. So what happens? How do we get rid of this knot? Prabhupada explains in the purport of First Canto, Chapter 2, verse 21, that the Lord in the heart, first he turns on the lights, and we see, oh my God, what do we see in there? We see all the anarthas, and we see Krishna and we see ourselves when he turns the light on. And then, after turning on the light, he unties the knot in the heart. Isn't that wonderful? We don't have to worry about it, but we do have to work for it. We do have to chant. We have to chant Hare Krishna and do service. And so, yes, Sukadeva is praying for empowerment. Let me be inspired in the heart. Please give me knowledge in my heart. Yeah, so yes, Chaitanya Chaitamrita explains how you get inspiration from Super Soul. Ramananda Roy, speaking to Lord Chaitanya, he says, the Super Soul within everyone's heart speaks not externally, but from within, instructs devotees in all respects. And the purport, very, very interesting what Prabhupada says. Here, Sri Ramananda Roy admits that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Super Soul. Did you know that? As we're worshiping Lord Chaitanya, we got Lord Chaitanya in the heart. He's in our heart, and he gives us inspiration. He is the Super Soul. Therefore, he is the original source of the Gayatri mantra. So when you chant Gayatri, Lord Chaitanya is there, and he's giving you inspiration. Savita is Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada says in the purport. Confirmed in Bhagavatam, he says, this verse we're reading confirms that Lord Chaitanya is Super Soul. Isn't that interesting? Sabita. Now, verse 23. I'll just read. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who, in his Purush incarnation, causes living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statement. So Prabhupada had a similar prayer when he came to America. How will they understand devotional service? I'm praying for your mercies so I'll be able to convince them about your message. So again, Prabhupada talks about how to be an instrument. First of all, we want to invoke the pleasure of the Lord so our statements may be successful and appreciated. Good to pray before you speak. I always try to ask the deities, okay, please help me today. I need help because I'm not very qualified. So we try to please Krishna by prayer. And second thing, declined devotee doesn't take credit for anything done by himself. Yes, Prabhupada, he refused to take credit for anything except one thing. He said, well, first he would usually say, no, it's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And sometimes he would say, no, it's my disciples. They're the ones who are doing it. But actually, he did take credit for one thing. If I have credit, if I get any credit, it's because I did not change anything. I didn't change it. I gave it fresh as it is. So yes, so he doesn't take credit. So if someone gives you credit for something, try to remember your spiritual master. Try to remember Srila Prabhupada. Yes, it's his blessing, it's his mercy. And so the third thing, how to be an instrument, the devotee wants to move by direction of the Supreme Lord. We're under his direction. So whatever happens, it's up to him. It's his direction. And number 4, no desire to become a self-appointed interpreter without authority. So when Prabhupada came to America, there were 650 Gitas already printed, but there wasn't any Gita Estes, as nobody became devotees reading those Gitas. I remember I had a different guru before Prabhupada. He only gave us the first 6 chapters. Couldn't go further because after that was bhakti. At least he was honest. And I didn't understand a word of those first 6 chapters. I couldn't understand anything. And then I got Prabhupada's Gita, and I said, oh, finally, breath of fresh air. This is a very nice understanding of Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says an interesting thing, Sukadeva prays for mercy of the Lord, not only for being helped personally in presenting the truth, also for helping others to whom he would like to speak. So it's not just for himself. It's just like Prahlad. He prayed, he said, I don't want to go back to Godhead by myself. I want to take all these fools and rascals with me. Yeah, okay, so that's the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Fools and rascals, he wanted to take us with him. So last verse we will sing, and this is a very mysterious verse. Verse 24. Namastasmai Bhagavate. Namastasmai Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vehase. Sudeva Vehase. Papagyanamaya Samya. Papagyanamaya Samya. Yamakaburahasavam. Kaburahasavam. I offer respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink up the nectarian transcendental knowledge dropping in the lotus mouth of the Lord. So isn't that interesting, what is being said here? What does that mean? Well, in the beginning of Bhagavatam, there's a verse where by Vyasadeva, where it says that everyone please drink Bhagavatam because it's a rasa, it's a juice. It's not a fruit. I mean, it is the fruit from desire to Vedic literature, but actually it was tasted by Sukadeva. And in India, if the parrot tastes the mango first, it becomes more sweet. So Sukadeva tasted it, and he changed it from a fruit into a juice. So we drink it. That's how we drink Bhagavatam. So isn't that interesting? Now in the purport, it's a very interesting, one of the most interesting purports in Bhagavatam. And it will answer a question. It was like, I was speaking on Radhashtami at the Vrindavan Gurukul, and one little boy asked me the question, did Radharani go to Gurukul? And I said, no, she learned a different way. And this purport tells how. How did Radharani learn all these arts? And so, this is a comment by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The nectar from the mouth of Krishna is transferred to his different consorts. And they learn the finer arts of music, dance, dressing, decorations, and all such things which are relished by the Lord. They are not anything mundane because the Lord is addressed as transcendental. This transcendental knowledge is unknown by the forgotten conditioned souls. So Vyasadeva compiled this literature to revive our memory, Prabhupada says. So here it is. One should try to understand the Vedic scriptures or the nectar transferred by the Lord to his consorts in the conjugal humor from the lotus-like mouth of Vyasadeva or Sukadeva. So that's what we're getting here. It's what Krishna gives to the gopis, mouth to mouth. And then Sukadeva gets it, and Vyasadeva gets it, and Sukadeva gets it, and we're getting it. And that's why the verse says, pure devotees drink this knowledge dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. So at the end of the purport, Prabhupada says, without having Vedic knowledge, one can hardly understand transcendental nature of the Lord's rasa dance and music. Then here's the amazing sentence, last sentence. Pure devotees of the Lord, however, can equally relish the nectar in the form of profound philosophical discourses and the form of kissing by the Lord in rasa dance, as there is no mundane distinction between the two. So that's where we're getting Bhagavatam from. The origin of Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's according to Srila Prabhupada Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that we are getting it from the lips of Krishna, and it's going down. So Lord Chaitanya spoke in Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, topics about Krishna are like waves of nectar. If such nectar does not enter the ear is no better than the hole of a damaged conch shell. Such an ear has no purpose. And so anyone can taste this nectar, and there's no fault in tasting it. If one does not taste it, he should die immediately after birth. Okay, so this is amazing Srimad-Bhagavatam, and we just wanted to share some things I learned from Prabhupada's lectures and purports today for you to hear. So if you have any questions, you can ask at this point. It looks like we don't have any questions today. So what shall we do? Still have time till breakfast. Well, I can tell a few stories about my life with Prabhupada. That one time, it was Bhagavad Gita class in Calcutta. I was living in Calcutta. I was the pujari for Radha Govinda in Calcutta for 7 years. And it was very 20-hour service. In those days, we all had 18 to 20 hours of seva every day, 24/7. Basically, there's no vacation at all. We did service, and that was we were young, we could do it. So, one Gita class, there was a verse, Avajananti Mam Mudha, that the fools, they don't understand Krishna, Mudhas. So I was sitting there, and all the men had the book. Ladies didn't have the book. So the men, they were singing the verse, and he asked for ladies. and I knew it from memory. So I said, Avacharanti Mam Buddha. Prabhupada looked at me, he was so happy. And I knew the verse. He really wanted us to learn these verses. And yes, he was very happy about that. And also I was typing for Srila Prabhupada, actually the whole Chaitanya, not the whole Navadvip Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita I was typing. And I was in Calcutta doing Pujari Seva, and he came, and his Pradyumna, his Sanskrit scholar, knew me from Boston, where I was typing Macmillan Bhagavad Gita. So there in Boston, the first day I joined the temple, because I was a typist, so that was like very, very valuable in those days, if you knew how to type. And they said, okay, you have to type Macmillan, for Macmillan Bhagavad Gita. And so they said, so you have to learn how to read Sanskrit. Here's Isha Upanishad, you just follow it in the back, and you type from Sanskrit, you read the Sanskrit and type it into English transliterations. That was my first day in the temple. And then, so he knew me, so he said, oh, Prabhupada's translating Chaitanya Charitamrita, he needs a typist. So you have to learn Bengali, how to read Bengali, and you can come with us tomorrow. I said, no problem. Because Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. And I just wanted to go with Prabhupada, I didn't care. So he gave me the Bengali book, I learned it, and off I went with Srila Prabhupada to Mayapur. And then we were living in very difficult conditions. The first building, Lotus Building, was under construction, and we were living in it. And there were no windows, just holes in the wall. There were no doors. The doors were there, but no handles, so you couldn't close them really, and the wind would just blow them across. So I was ladies' ashram. We had no door actually. We were connected to another room, had a door, but no floor. And we were on the first floor. We were up, and so we had to walk on a board to the door, a very narrow board to get to the door. It was, and then take our bath somewhere. But we were doing it on the veranda. We had to go get water from down, bring it up, and have a bath. Anyway, yeah, and the outhouse was somewhere out in the field in the dark. But so we had bathrooms, but no pipes. So couldn't use the bathroom. So anyway, yeah, I was typing away. One day I had this huge Bengali, whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. I had it open, had the earphones, and Prabhupada looked in my hole-in-the-wall window, and he said to me, oh, you know Bengali? I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. I didn't know a word, but I just knew how to read. And so there he was. The book was there, and I was reading in Bengali, and I was typing it in English transliteration. When I would read that, I would type it in English. So he called me to his room. He said, oh, you know Bengali? Yes, Srila Prabhupada. So learn how to type on a Bengali typewriter. So then, yeah, I learned. And one brahmachari was teaching me, and I said to the brahmachari, look, you don't have to look at the typewriter. You just look at the paper and you remember where the keys are. He said, oh, I was teaching him touch typing on the Bengali typewriter. He said, oh, now I understand what Prabhupada told me. He said, you teach her and you learn from her also. I was teaching him touch typing in Bengali. So anyway, so Prabhupada said, you learn Bengali typing and we will do many books together. And I thought, well, I'm going to travel with Prabhupada. But it didn't happen because meanwhile in Calcutta, all the pujaris left because they were afraid of the new temple president, Garga Muni. And so they called me back to be head pujari. And yes, that was the end. But then it was very prophetic because I started writing books 30 years later. Gita at a glance, Bhagavatam at a glance. And it happened. And I feel it was with Srila Prabhupada. That was Prabhupada's kind of prophetic words that we would do many books together. So yeah, that was, it was very, and one time I was doing Mangalarti and offering to the deities, And in Calcutta, there's no like floor. It's just the deities and the temple, and just like a little rope in between. So one day I was offering deities the ghee lamp, and then I turned around. There was Prabhupada, like 4 inches from me. So what should I do? Should I give him the ghee lamp, or should I do an arti first? And I think I did a quick arti, gave him the ghee lamp. And then that whole arti, I was very focused and very nervous. And then after that, I thought, I should do all my service like that. Prabhupada standing behind me and watching me. Yeah, I should do that. Anyway, many different things happened in Calcutta. He would also praise us. He would also chastise us. Yes, one time we had these, like in Mangalarti here, these big lamps. And but we had them on all day because electricity was mostly off. So one time Prabhupada said, "Why are these lamps so dirty? Who has done this?" Yeah, he called us up, the pujaris, chastised us. Anyway, so yeah, we had to face it. If we made a mistake, then he got on our case. So, okay, any questions about anything? Okay, we'll stop here. Glory to Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. You can keep those.